This is the nature of everything. Don't stay stuck.
Hey everybody, welcome back to The Nature of Everything.
Yeah, this is Bo and Clint, and we're the co-creators of the Coin framework. And we're just two guys who somehow made it to episode 65 without having any legal troubles or any problems just yet.
Well, don't jinx it. But honestly,
I know,
look,
my bad.
even this episode, the fact that we're sitting here, it doesn't happen without community. I've told you this, but I wouldn't have made it past episode 4 if I was trying to do some solo podcast thing. I mean, I've got mad respect for those guys.
Mm.
For me, it just shows me that community, it can be small, but it can also be the only thing keeping you upright.
Well, from what I understand, size doesn't matter.
Okay, I see what you're doing there. You're like setting me up with a slam dunk of immaturity, but
There you go.
I'm declining, sir. I'm taking the high road.
The listeners are witnessing our maturity and growth in real time. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm in.
barely. But seriously, I mean, we wanted to have a conversation today about why personal development can't happen in isolation. Why just having the information is never enough. And you actually need people, not just podcasts or books, to change your life.
Yeah, and actually, for those of you who like it a little weird, stick around for our fake courtroom scene later. It's educational, but maybe a little emotionally confusing.
Look, here's what I've been chewing on lately. Most of us aren't stuck because we don't know enough. We're stuck because we're trying to grow in a vacuum.
And it's like we think the next book or the next podcast or the next influx of information is going to be this golden skeleton key that unlocks everything. But I think it just usually fills the mental filing cabinet with all of this stuff that we don't know how to use it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. We confuse inspiration with integration. And that's not a knock on good content, good books, good stuff. Some of it's golden, but gold doesn't mean anything if you don't have a place to spend it.
Sure. And you do need somewhere to practice. You need somewhere to learn how to fail and to wrestle with these issues and to learn how to apply the ideas and see where it actually fits into the real world.
Yeah, and that's where the self help world usually falls apart. You get handed a bunch of quotes, and I mean, maybe even I'm pointing at ourselves. I mean, maybe
Sure.
even a cute little acronym. But
Mhm,
then what?
mhm. Well, I think you're just sitting in your living room trying to like manifest abundance, while you're just waiting on somebody like your buddy to Venmo you for half this nasty pizza you're about to eat.
That's so abundant. But if you want abundance, you have to practice. Growth without practice is just like mental hoarding. We always ask, like, what do we do though? Like we want to know. I mean, we watch some cool content. We're like, but what do you do? Like, we want the
Mhm.
recipe. We want the prescription. And man, I mean, there's a huge market for people out there selling the recipe, but the meal is usually pretty unsatisfying.
Well, then I say we just say it straightforward. Like information is not equal to transformation. If you don't have like people and an actual space to be real and authentic with those people, I think it's noise. It's just crap in the air.
I mean, I think that one of the reasons that people do stay stuck is that they're trying to grow off of that content, but that content doesn't really have any context, like in their life.
Yeah, like they're building a life off of slogans, the ones like, well, just be yourself or don't look back, let it all go. Like, I get it. They're slogans.
Yeah, I tried that. Just be, just be yourself. I tried to just be myself one time, but at the time, myself was tired, lonely, and passive aggressive.
Actually, I remember that guy. But I mean, realistically, that's the point. Just because a quote sounds, cute doesn't mean that it's actually helpful. So often I do think that ideas and like growth points, they need to be like fleshed out and they need to be discussed if they're going to ever become useful.
Yeah, I think growth needs conversation. Like you said earlier, to wrestle with some ideas, not just repost them.
And look, you can't do that if you are constantly stuck in this black and white thinking, like this polarized left or right. I mean, it has to be one or the other because we all know it. Like life happens in the gray area. And
Mm.
I get it. It's awkward. It's like those gotcha moments in, I don't know, like a Senate hearing where someone's like, just answer yes or no. And you're watching this committee grill somebody who's brilliant and capable of all of the things that's, under their command and under their control. But you just see them just like say yes or no. And it's not a yes or no kind of question or
I
answer.
hate those. I mean,
I
they're
know.
like, will you agree right now to stop beating your children? And you're sitting there like, wait, what? I've never done that.
Yeah, exactly. When did you stop beating your children? Like, what? It's not yes or no, but answer the question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they leave no room for nuance, no
Hmm.
room for the actual truth. They just demand a black or white, in a very great world, like you said. And that's what it feels like trying to grow without people, without real conversation.
Mr. Bow, please answer the question for the record. Yes or no? Will you agree to stop beating your children?
Well, I mean, I've never beat my children. I mean, I've never beat them per se.
Yes or no? I said yes or no, sir.
I mean, sure. I mean, I would stop. I mean, if I had started, which I haven't. So yes, but also, what's even happening right now?
You know what? Let the record show that the witness has admitted to child abuse.
See, that's exactly it. Growth without nuance is just a trap. You're damned
Mhm.
if you do, and you're damned if you try to clarify.
And look, so there's our courtroom scene. Hope you liked it. But like this does happen in real life. And you're working on yourself and you're trying to talk it out. And someone just hits you with, well, I mean, are you committed to growth or not? And it's like, yes, person, I am, but I also have life going on. And so there are things happening and maybe I need a nap and a sandwich and this growth can't happen right this second.
So here's our public service announcement. If your whole plan for transformation does fit on a bumper sticker, you might need a witness stand, or at least a good friend who can look at you and say, like, hey, let's actually talk this out.
So look, read all the quotes and for sure journal the feelings and buy the planners and put all of these things in play because those are important. But make sure that that is part of the practice. And the real practice, though, I think does actually happen with people in your life through conversation, through fleshing this out and actually getting it out of between your ears.
Yeah, I know that every real moment of growth that we've had, some
Mhm.
uncomfortable breakthroughs or some thoughts, like they come through conversation. It's not a worksheet.
And so often that's exactly what this podcast is. It's the unfolding proof that personal growth works better in conjunction with others. And look, no, it's not because we're just simply crushing it, but because we're not disappearing on each other. We consistently and intentionally make sure that we put this time into our practice because it's that important.
That's the bar. It's not about brilliance or we're doomed. It's about breakthroughs. It's just, did we stay in the room?
And if you have been trying to do this whole be a better human thing, and if you're doing it alone, no wonder it feels overwhelming and impossible and a drag on your energy all the time.
I mean, you're not broken. You're probably just overdue for some people time. Maybe you're a
Yeah.
little too alone.
Hey, quick pause. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, I could really use some people in my life, understand that's exactly why we're building the coin community.
Look, and truthfully, it kind of exists and it doesn't. We're building it right now. It's real, but it's still becoming what it's meant to be.
Absolutely. So if you've been looking for a space to practice this stuff that we're talking about and you want to practice it for real, we'd love to know if you're interested in helping us create this community.
Yeah, so head to coinyourlife.com/community. Let us know if you're in and we'll build it together.
And look, if you're new here and you have no idea what coin even means, then go to coinyourlife.com, grab the book, catch up, just jump in. You'll find us. It's easy. Come join us.
Hey, so here's the thing. A framework, any framework, including coin, it's only as powerful as it's practiced. It's only as sustainable when it's shared.
Yeah, and like Bo said earlier, you can't coin your life in a vacuum. You can journal about confirmation, you can journal about ownership and intentionality and changing the nature all day long. You can do all of that. But if no one's walking with you on all of this, it's hard to turn into a real practice if it's just a solo hobby.
Yeah, like honestly, coin needs pushback. Like it can't just be the mirror that just feeds you back what you want to see. You need somebody to say, like, hey, like I heard what you said, but that's not what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, and to your point, I think confirmation hits way harder when somebody reflects what you're saying and what you're doing and they reflect it back to you. I think that gets real when somebody looks at you and says, "Okay, confirmation, yes. Ownership, yes. But hmm, are you sure? Are you sure that was really their fault? Are you sure that's what they meant, or is that what you wanted I don't know. It's kind of like that pushback when somebody hears what you're delivering, confirmation, ownership, talking about your intentionality, when they reflect it back to you, but it's not just a simple agreement of what you wanted to feed yourself. It's so necessary.
I mean, I think the nature of everything, it doesn't get to change if you're isolated. It changes
Mm.
through connection and like we're saying, through tension and
Yeah.
reflection. It's like, practicing this in the wild.
Nothing feels more wild than disagreement, right? And
Yeah.
so if you've been trying to coin your way forward and you're doing it alone and wondering why you feel stuck, it's not because you messed it up. It's not because you're a failure or you're weak in some way. It's none of those. It really is because the model, this framework, the manner in which it's put in place was never meant to be a solo sport. It was never designed by us to be that solo hobby and to walk alone in isolation.
It's not a download. It's a shared practice. It's a coin that we pass back and forth between us.
You know what? You ever notice how the most capable people, like the ones who they seem to always keep everything moving in the right direction. They always have that forward momentum. Rarely do they have anyone asking them, "How are you really doing? Like what's going on for you? What is it that you need?"
And not like in that surface way, like how are you doing, but like
Mhm.
actually, how are you doing? You're probably fine. You always are, right?
It's fine. I said it's fine.
But it's that weird kind of fine, the kind that it doesn't fall apart, but it's also not moving forward.
And if you are one of those high functioning just fine, kind of folks, like,
You're the
you
high
know,
functioning fine.
I'm
Funny.
high functioning fine. I mean, everything's working. It's not, again, it's not that anything's epically failing. It's working, but I don't know that when you're sitting in that spot, nothing feels particularly great or it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel true and authentic.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there's no drama, there's no disaster. It's just kind of a low hum of something's missing here.
Sure. And look, if something does feel like it's constantly missing, again, it's not a weakness or it's not a failure. For sure, that's a signal, something you should pay attention to.
I mean, it's the gap. When we talk
Hmm.
about the gap, it's easy to think about things like goals, money, and, or that dreaded discipline. But, for a lot of people, I think the real gap is just loneliness.
Yeah, not isolation. That's different. We're more connected as a society than ever. But like for me, like the data is terrifying. The Surgeon General says loneliness is as dangerous to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Like most people don't even realize the degree in which they are isolated. They're not even paying attention to how lonely they are.
Yeah, because they are connected to something, somebody. They are productive. Their calendar's full.
Yeah, but to that, loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about not feeling a part of it's about not feeling seen, not feeling heard. It's about not having a place to be real without having to manage the room, whether you're, the supervisor or you're the manager. Like that is not necessarily connection that feeds what you need to be more than fine. You shouldn't have to manage the room of who you are internally.
Yeah, and look, that feeling of not being seen, that's what makes good people quit. I mean, that's what makes them drift, makes them lose themselves. It makes them just really disappear from their own life.
That's why this matters. That's why this is so important. Not because it's, nice to be social, but it really is how you maintain your humanity.
Yeah, I mean, all this is like serious, right? I mean, like, it just
Yeah.
really shines the spotlight on the fact that we don't need any more content. We need a
Sure.
context, and,
Mhm.
we need a room that we can stay in even when we're not okay.
Yeah. So realistically, look, if you don't have that, if that's not something that you know that you can turn to immediately, then don't lie to yourself about it. Closing that gap doesn't happen in theory. It just doesn't. Like if you know this about yourself, then you can confirm it. You can name it and say, I don't have that." Then know that to fix that, that happens with people. That happens with reaching out and being part of something.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's not even about like accountability. It's just about being known. Known for what you're working for. Working on, even if it's something small, or maybe even especially when it's small.
For sure. Like this person right here that I'm speak to, Bo. Like you recently told me about starting a new practice, and I'm calling you out on it, and I'm gonna chuckle, but it's actually brilliant. So you started a push up practice. So
Oh man, don't do this. You ain't got to bring the push-ups into this.
I am. And look, like I said, I'm doing it because I honestly think that, I mean, yes, I make fun of you, but it's a perfect example. Like, Bo declared to me that he's going to start doing push ups, which that's not the funny part.
I'm trying to put my coin money where my mouth is. So I started a 2 push-ups a day practice.
Mhm.
And you might be wondering, like, throughout the day, several times. No, I mean 2 push-ups per day.
And look, now it's a thing. Like, I get it. You tell it, it's funny, but I do want to say, like, it's an honest practice for what it is.
Thank you. And I've already moved up, Clint. I'm up to 3. So look out.
Look, the point is this. It's not, I said it, it's not about the push-ups. It is about putting what you're actually doing. You're putting, how do I say that? You're putting your growth like into the room. So like I get it. This feels small, laughably small. But again, this is something that like we've talked about in our community between you and I. This is something that is like it's not about accountability. I'm not going to necessarily hold you to your 2 or 3, but you are. And that is something that because you've said it out loud, this is a shared piece to me. I can check in and see where you are.
Yeah, and honestly, like telling you and Jess about it, it's the only reason I haven't bailed. I mean, it's so
Mm.
stupidly small that I would just feel ridiculous letting you guys down over 3 push-ups. I mean, it goes back to so many times in the podcast we've said, start with, something small, and we'll actually pause
Mhm.
and say like the stupidest, smallest thing that you could do. And so I really did kind of want to put my money where my mouth is and say like, okay, well, like practice what you preach.
And that really is it because it is small, but it won't be, right? This snowball effect is going to be like very important down the road because I do believe that this is a practice that you will keep and you will continue to build on it. And so again, you don't keep going because somebody's like waiting for you to fail. But I think too often you actually keep going because someone actually knows that this is what you said you were going to do. This is what you want. This is what you desire. This is the standard of the goal that you've set for yourself. And because you told somebody that, like you're going to press yourself for it.
Yeah, and with something like that being known, with you feeling like you're seen, even in the smallest of ways, like I really do think it keeps you anchored.
And we've said it before because if you don't have that in play, you called it drift. The drift is real. And I think that is where if you feel like you're drifting, I think that's where the loneliness and that isolation really starts to set in and create the problems.
If you are in a community that is that kind of hard, if you feel like it's judgment, that loneliness is going to be because you want to stay away from them. It's got to
Mhm.
be, it's got to come from, again, not a performative kind of place. It's got to come from an authentic, like, hey, I want you to have what you wanted. Like, I don't have a dog
Mm,
in the hunt.
that's
It's
good.
that kind of stuff, that as we're talking about this stuff, as we're kind of thinking through these ideas, like maybe you're agreeing with us, like if it hits you and you know that quiet loneliness, you know the weight of carrying it all alone, just know that you're not broken or behind.
Not at all. It stands to reason that you're probably just like overdue to be seen and to be heard. And
Yeah.
if you can feel that right now, if that's what's landing for you and you know it, then that means you're already confirming it. You're already owning it, and you're already doing something bold.
Yeah, because most people, they numb out, but not you. And you're here. You're listening and letting some of these ideas land and confirming. I mean, that matters.
Yeah. So don't go at it alone. Don't run at this solo. I don't see that as being strong. I don't see that as like look how stoic and awesome I am because I'm just gonna run into this brick wall over and over by myself. Like I think that's that setup for failure realistically.
So look, find your people, or at least start telling your own truth loud enough so that they can find you. Maybe.
So look, we'll be here next week, episode 66. Until
I
then,
can't wait till you say
um
6'7". We can go 6'7". Sorry,
I'm
we
not
have
doing it.
kids.
We're not gonna reference it. Yeah. But until then, for what it's worth, stay in the room. Stay in the room with your people, with those that matter. And if you need some more people, reach out to us. Find us on all the things, all the socials and all the stuff. Like email us at info@coinyourlife.com. Track us down, tag us in, come be part of it.
Absolutely, we'd love to hear from you.
Before you go, just know it's time. Time to connect. Time to change the nature of everything. Find us at coinyourlife.com and don't stay stuck.